Howdy, howdy, fellow movie watchers and friends and foes alike. Come on in and join us for this edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, brought to you by PXC Creative. As always, we're your hosts, Evan Davies, Dylan Davies. Dylan, what do we got today?
We got the second half of the round of 32.
We are continuing our greatest action scene tournament in conjunction with the ONETA Show. If you want to see the first half of round 32, you can go check that out on the latest edition of the ONETA Show, which I believe is going to be episode 46, if I counted correctly. It'll be somewhere in the mid-40s, I can tell you that for certain. But
it's about to have its midlife crisis.
Yes, indeed. It's ready for a midlife crisis because it's already had enough of its adolescent crises.
It's going to buy a convertible, get a divorce, try to find a 25-year-old. Yeah. All the good stuff.
It's ready. It's ready for that. So we had a lot of interesting matchups happen in that one, and we had to kill a darling, and it was rough. So we had a good matchup.
There was a couple, yeah.
There was a couple, but then in particular, there was one matchup that you may as well have just ripped someone's heart out like it was Temple of Doom because it was bad. So we now go on. We're in the Weaver division and the Arnold division. As we say every time, we have a scale of 10. We give a certain amount of points towards one movie or the other. So it might be 7-3, 9-1, one movie scene versus the other. We're always going to talk about the loser more often than the winner because we have to keep talking about the winner later. But we'll always give a justification. If there is a tie, then we just got to deliberate how it's going to go and make an argument for the movie that we, I guess, favor. I think that's covered everything. Oh, by the way, there's a link in the description below for any of these scenes. So for some reason, if you haven't caught up and you want to catch up, we have all the links to these scenes free to you on YouTube as best we possibly can. Linked there to find the scenes. Shall we get into it?
Yep.
We go to the number one seed of the Weaver division. The only seeded movie left in this division bracket. It is the truck chase sequence from Raiders of the Lost Ark, taking on the, I guess, security bank heist. I guess that's what you would call it.
The heist, yeah.
The heist from the original Mission Impossible. How'd you score this?
9-1.
Raiders?
I
also have 9-1 Raiders. Give your justification. Let's talk Raiders very quickly.
Okay. So my justification would be there are literally like 30 great moments within that truck chase.
Yeah.
There's a great action scene is lucky if they have two. And Raiders has so much.
Well, it's funny that you say that. You could show that scene to 100 people and you could probably get, as you said, 20 to 30 responses on what was your favorite moment in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how good that scene is.
Yeah.
Again, it's a reason it's a number one seed. And yeah, it's fucking great. It's brilliant.
Yep.
So the reason I scored it the way I did 9-1 is this. The reason the original Mission Impossible scene even made it out, because I tied at 6-4. It got in by beating Point Break. And Point Break's skydiving sequence where Keanu Reeves jumps out of an airplane without a fucking parachute. Which, by the way, fuck it, is great. We love that scene. You know, Raiders made it in by beating a plane. It beat Die Hard and the roof jump sequence. And I was already on the fence because what makes Mission Impossible heist sequence special is the fact that it's kind of an anti-action sequence. No loud noises, very restricted movement. It's the antithesis of what an action scene usually is. It's built through suspense and drama. It's not built through fight.
I was just about to say that. It is much more of a suspense scene than it is an action scene.
And so it's similar to a vein of, one of our other of our number one seeds, like Interstellar. It's closer to that than it is pure action, so to speak, because it's building tension and stakes. That's the important part of it.
Yep.
But there is the little touch of the ridiculous with the rat being involved, which did almost cost it the win. Where I was so like I gave the nod to Mission Impossible because I was supposed to break the tie on that one because we tied
Yep.
6-4, and you were like I can go either way, and I was gonna give it to Point Break, but I was like Mission Impossible is so unique. I think that's got to go. Unique only gets you so far when you're up against a juggernaut. It's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah.
The still shots from the heist scene are incredible, and they are part of movie lore forever and always.
Yeah. I was about to say that as well. I was going to say, I think this scene might be the most iconic scene in the whole bracket. I'm looking around.
Besides possibly its competition today.
The only one I can think of is maybe Raiders and maybe Jurassic Park.
Oh,
That's about it.
the whole like thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
In terms of truly iconic.
yeah.
Like if people haven't seen the movie, they still kind of know that
They
scene.
know the moment. I think.
Yeah.
I also would put the Dark Knight up in there. I think the scene of the Joker just yelling "Hit me!" That's iconic. That still shot of the Joker.
Maybe the truck flip, yeah.
And the truck flip. I think that would be up there as well. But yeah, I can't really argue that as much as I thought I might be able to. So yeah, I mean the icon status is there. It's just the components to make Raiders are near impossible to beat. There's a reason we ranked it a number 1 seed.
Yep.
And to then go up against that, and you don't have nearly as many of the components to make it a great action sequence. You kind of do something so unique that you're kind of out in the woods by yourself. It's tough. It's going to be tough no matter what you do. So we have 18-2 victory for Raiders in our first matchup of the episode of the round. So Raiders is making it to the Sweet 16. We're now going to stick with Indiana Jones. So we have the tank chase from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which beat out the Achilles and Hector fight from Troy. And that is taking on the Nightcrawler opening sequence from X2 X-Men United, which beat out the Jack Sparrow chase from Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. How do you score this one? I think this is really interesting and unique.
I went 6-4 Last Crusade.
I also went 6-4 Last Crusade.
Okay.
I think here, what Mission Impossible hopes to accomplish by being so unique as an action scene, I'm not saying overall in the movie, I'm saying in the context of this tournament, I think that's what Nightcrawler actually achieves. It just doesn't have the same amount of components and character work to put it over the top against the Last Crusade.
Yeah. So, just quickly on the winner, Last Crusade, I feel like they were trying to top the truck chase in Raiders.
Yeah.
They didn't, just to be clear. But
yeah.
it gets close.
It's damn close, but it's not.
And there are a lot more moving components to the scene.
Yes.
Whereas Raiders has like a couple. But the tank chase has Indy, his dad, Sala,
Marcus
Brody, Marcus Brody, like all the fucking bad
Plus,
guy Nazis.
you have beyond all the Nazi henchmen, you also have like the second or third biggest heel in the movie, with the Nazi captain involved as well.
Yeah, the one who goes down at the end with the explosion.
Right. So there's so many components to that where the uniqueness is there for X2. I adore that sequence. That was one where I said, no, this is going in. I'm not going to hear any debate. I'm putting in the Nightcrawler scene. What I love about it is you understand the power set of this character. This is the introduction of a character into a franchise as well. And this is a big leap forward for what X-Men is going to do. Because when you watch X-Men 1, it's a good movie. But it's not nearly what the X-Men could be.
I would agree.
It's more so showing we can make these blue and yellow spandex characters serious in a
Yeah.
2000s tone. And we can play with characters like Magneto who can move metal, and you're like, what? What character can do that?
Yeah.
Where X2, you start getting far more into the X-Men universe, and by showing, hey, here's this blue devil demon creature who can teleport. And you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
And the fight choreography edited with all the teleportation is impeccable. It's so good.
It all not just sets up character, but it also sets up the story line with the little like thing
Yeah.
on his neck.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it.
Well, it's like the serum.
Mind control.
Yeah,
almost.
it's like the mind control serum, where for a temporary amount of time, you can control somebody, very Manchurian Candidate style. Plus, you have you have the moments where you even have the character moment of Nightcrawler's a good character. He's not trying to hurt or kill anybody. It's the mind control that's making him do it. So he doesn't kill anybody.
Yes,
Up until he's trying to kill the president due to mind control.
He's very morally ambiguous in that opening.
Right. Which allows you to go, okay. Because we've seen
interesting character. Yeah,
we've seen the other mutants that are bad kill humans. We know they will do it. So it's like, okay. And then you get that last where the knife drops after he's been shot, and the serum he gets knocked out of the serum's influence, and it's all about mutant liberation, and so you have the tension that's driving both forces, good and bad. Plus, you get the setup of the great mechanic of the movie and the MacGuffin almost of the mind control.
Yep.
So you get everything set up perfectly in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's impeccable. It's filmmaking done incredibly well. Sad to say that he sucks as a human being, but Bryan Singer knows how to make a fucking movie. So, I mean, it sucks because, again, we don't like giving praise to bad people, but...
Yeah. Luckily, I don't think he's going to be back for quite a while.
Yeah. He's going to pop up eventually. They all do.
Oh, I'm sure he'll have a comeback at some point, but...
I mean... Roman Polanski did, for fuck's sake, and
he'll probably have to go to Europe to come back.
I don't know how Roman Polanski even got to make another movie, so that's a different story in my opinion. But we're gonna move on here. So Last Crusade takes a 12-8 over X2. Now we have Avatar beating out Old Boy in the round of 64. So we have the Jake and Neytiri fight versus Quaritch is what we... Quaritch is what we determine Stephen Lang's character name is, hence the reason we just say Stephen Lang's character most of the time.
Yep.
And it's
easier.
It's the end battle in the original Avatar. That is taking on Godzilla -1's destruction of Ginza, where he destroys the whole town, and that beat out the Ripley versus Alien Queen fight from Aliens. How'd you score it?
I did 7-3 Godzilla.
I went 7-3 Godzilla as well.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to go higher. To me, this wasn't a competition. This was Godzilla all the way. So we'll talk Godzilla quickly. Everything is there to make Godzilla an epic and treated respectfully the way the character is supposed to be treated.
It does something that all of the American versions try to do but never succeed at, which is make Godzilla truly terrifying.
Yes.
Because in real life, it would be a giant fucking monster destroying cities.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be this big spectacle thing. It'd be a terrifying experience.
Right.
And that's what it feels like in Godzilla -1.
And Godzilla's never looked better. Godzilla looks incredible in this. And you get the atomic fire breath. It don't get much better than that. So with Avatar, I said this in the first one. Avatar was is this the first one I did a split on? I believe so. This is the first matchup I had a 5-5 split in the round of 64. it took on Old Boy's hallway fight, and outside of the visuals, I feel that this Avatar scene, there's nothing special to it outside of the visuals. The stakes get raised at the end, which I gave points for, but that was its saving grace, and that's why ultimately the Avatar movies in general, but specifically the first Avatar movie, doesn't matter to me that much, because I think it's all sizzle and no steak, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I would say that about that scene generally. It's mostly sizzle, no steak. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks incredible.
Do you think it's a lack of connection with the character?
Partially, I would say. The thing is, this is I remember going into Avatar, and we just walked into the theater. It was one of those classic triple feature days where
I think so, yeah.
our father refused to go pay for a movie and only see one movie. I remember one time I left after watching one movie and I left you guys there and I walked home by myself. And I don't know if our father's ever been more disappointed in me. Like, because it was just on principle, you stay for 2 to 3 movies. And we'd been doing it so often during that time, and I was like, I can't. There's nothing here that I want to watch.
Can't do that anymore.
I think technically you could. You just got to be a lot smarter about it.
The true, yeah.
So, in this, we just kind of walked into Avatar. And it was like, oh, everyone's talking about Avatar. Oh my god, it's incredible. Oh my god, this. Oh my god, that. And again, it just came down to when I watch Avatar, it's all sizzle. It looks beautiful. But none of those characters resonate with me. And it's crazy.
Fair?
Half of my philosophy in life, my voting history, everything comes down to environmentalism. The whole movie's about environmentalism, and I'm still just like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. If you don't connect with the characters, then you just don't connect. It's not like it's something wrong with you or anything. It's just, it's not for you. It's not your cup of tea.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I'm just kind of like, okay. But in judging the scene, I think I've done a pretty good job trying to be as fair as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see what's really special about that scene outside of the visuals. Now, we've seen mech fights.
That's purely why I like it, is the visuals. And I do like, I mention it every time Avatar comes up. Zoe Saldana. She never gets enough credit for her mocap performance.
To speak on that, Oscar winner Zoe Saldana.
Yes.
Well deserved for her. She finally gets some recognition.
She never gets enough credit for her mocap performance.
I was watching live. Her speech was a little hard to watch because she was so emotional. But
yeah, oh yeah.
But long overdue for her to get the credit that she deserves.
That's why. As if I give them about 20 seconds, and then in that 20 seconds, if I feel any kind of cringe, I mute it.
Unfortunately, I was with friends in a hotel room and didn't have the opportunity to mute it.
There's times when I'm just like, oh, I can't take this. Yeah. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
I felt that hard in watching her acceptance speech. It was nothing against her. I was just like, oh God. I felt the creepy crawly, like cringe where you're like, oh okay. But again,
and it's funny because you were probably super happy for her.
I was so happy for her.
So was I. Yeah.
And again, you are the biggest backer of Zoe Saldana I've ever met. I've ever known. No one goes to bat for her like you do. Where you're like, she never gets the credit. She's amazing. She deserves everything. And so I had all those thoughts in my head. I was so excited for her, but also like the first thing she does is scream out, "Mommy!" And I just went, "Oh God!" And I it just went.
Yep. That's the mute moment.
But again, good for her. I'm glad she got her win. But she doesn't get her win here because she's going up against Godzilla -1. So
yep, I think it's fair.
Now we move on to our final matchup in the Weaver division. We have the parkour chase from Casino Royale, which took out the Batmobile chase from the Batman. So stiff competition there.
Mm-hmm.
Taking on Django Unchained's Candyland shootout, which beat out the Matrix's Neo versus Agent Smith.
I was gonna say, I think Casino Royale, if it moves on, is gonna be the Jurassic Park where it has the toughest way to go, you know? Like the entire tournament is just like, oh fuck me, oh fuck me, oh
Yes.
fuck. Like
Yeah, I would
it,
agree with that.
yeah.
How did you score this one?
I 7-3
Casino
Casino
Royale.
Royale.
I also had 7-3 Casino Royale.
Okay. That's what I figured. That's why I said I was pretty sure it was moving on.
This scene is impeccable. And you don't understand until you're really evaluating it how smart that parkour scene is because of how much character is underlying under the surface. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. And the action is as good as it gets. I don't think it's unfair to say this is peak Bond. This is the best individual scene in any Bond movie ever.
I probably would agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, I still give the nod to Skyfall as a better movie. I think I like Skyfall just a hair more.
I like Casino Royale more. Actually, Casino Royale, I think, is it in both our top 100s?
Yes, Casino Royale is in both our top. I will say this, we haven't gotten to those episodes yet. Dylan knows how I ranked some stuff because we've pre-recorded a lot of our top 100, but or the majority of our top 100 is already recorded. Casino Royale just barely gets edged out by Skyfall. I think Skyfall is just there's something just a little bit more about Skyfall that I like. But this scene, there's no scene in Skyfall, No Time to Die, GoldenEye, name all the great Bond movies you can name. None of them top this parkour chase.
Mm-hmm.
It's impeccable.
Yeah. I think this is really the scene because Daniel Craig got so much shit before the movie. Like as soon as he got cast, everyone was like, "Oh, Bond can't be a blonde," all that shit.
Yeah,
like undeserving shit.
Oh yeah.
I have to imagine that this is the scene where everyone went, "Okay, yeah, he's great.
Let's just shut the fuck up." Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember we watched this in a rando theater in Waukesha or Brookfield, Wisconsin. And we were just thrown to the wolves and left in a town we didn't even live in to watch a movie for a Christmas party. And we both just went, holy fuck, is Casino Royale good?
Yeah, I remember not really liking, I shouldn't say not liking, but being kind of lukewarm on all of the Bond movies. And the older I get, the more I appreciate them.
Yeah.
Especially the Daniel Craig ones.
Oh yeah, the Daniel Craig ones. That's by far, and he's our Bond. He's the best Bond in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about Django here. What scored points for me was the absurdity, and how unique that scene is. Where this is Tarantino just getting to play.
Yep.
Where Tarantino's like, I don't know, what if we just shot every white character ever? That's the whole scene.
That's kind of his vibe.
And I'm here for it. I fucking love it. It's great.
Like I think I said in the last episode. Oh no, it was the one where Once Upon a Time went up against Anchorman.
Yeah.
In the Tarantino world, the bad guys, they die.
Yep. Bad guys die in Tarantino's world, no matter what. So
he's switching history around. He doesn't give a shit.
Honestly, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if it actually happened.
It would be great. It'd be fantastic.
You mean Hitler getting shot in the face 1 billion times at point blank, and then burning to death and blowing up? Like,
yes. Yeah. Until he's unrecognizable. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'd be down for that.
Well, I love it because it's kind of the first time he does that in Inglourious Bastards, and everyone goes, "That's not what actually happened." It's like, that's the point.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
Exactly.
Like,
so, love that about Django. It just starts so subtly. Shake my hand. I insist. Okay. One shot. You shot me. Couldn't resist. And then shot, 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 and it's just continually shooting at people.
Hmm.
And Django gets to be a badass. It's so much fun. Like, I wish I could describe more to you, but it's all very much just Django finds a revolver, Django shoots a white man.
That that's the thing about that scene that loses points a little bit is it is repetitive.
Yes.
It's just white guys run in, Django shoots them. White guys run in, Django shoots them.
So I would equate that scene to pizza. Everyone loves pizza. You want to keep eating pizza.
Hmm.
But eventually, how many variations of pizza can you actually eat and make
Yeah.
it super different and make it like, whoa? But you still always want it. You still,
Yeah.
you're here for it, but eventually you're like, oh, it's pizza night. Okay, that's awesome.
It also definitely gets a lot of points because they use physical squibs.
Yeah.
I hate the digital squibs. They got some nice fat juicy squibs on them. In all the Tarantino movies, it's great.
But yeah, Django is great. I love that scene. I think it possibly could have snuck into the Sweet 16 based on matchup. I think it's good enough for that. It just came up against.
Yeah.
I think Casino Royale is a dark horse. I really do. I was wowed when I rewatched it because I remember it being great, and rewatching it, I just went, "This is even
It's
so much better than I thought it was."
it's kind of like I wouldn't go this far, but it's got a lot of moments, little moments that are
Yes,
really awesome.
Martin Campbell does such a good job shooting the scene and directing the scene. It's
Hmm.
incredible. But that is our final matchup out of the Weaver division for this episode. So we're going to head on over to our Arnold bracket. And our number one seed, Saving Private Ryan, which took out Jackie Chan's Police Story, make it into the round of 32, is going to take on one of my favorite movies ever, and I've gushed about it. It's the test sequence from Top Gun Maverick, which beat out the church massacre from Kingsman: The Secret Service. How'd you score it? Just,
7-3, Saving Private Ryan.
I went 6-4, Saving Private Ryan. I was still fair.
Hmm.
This is harder than The Dark Knight for me. Because
Really?
so here's why. I really enjoyed Saving Private Ryan when I just watched it for the first time a couple months ago.
Hmm.
I think Saving Private Ryan is legitimately a great movie, but I don't love it near as much as I love Top Gun Maverick. Where Fellowship of the Ring and Dark Knight, although there is a difference, it's negligible about how much I love each of those.
Sure.
And it's one of those that if someone said, "What do you love more, Omaha Beach or the test sequence?" I would be like, "It's not a question." Where at least I have to think about which one I like more in Fellowship and Dark Knight. Where
Yeah.
this, it's like you are legitimately killing one of my favorite movie scenes of all time.
Yeah.
So let's go Omaha Beach. Has war ever been shown that well in a movie before?
Well, that's the thing. Is it is the first war movie to shoot it that well. Because like all the World War II soldiers after the movie came out were saying like, "Oh, I had never seen a war movie depict war like it actually felt to me."
Yeah.
So
Where
it's got to get credit for that.
the feeling of fear and panic of storming that beach, you
Yeah,
feel. You feel that.
yeah. The mindset of the soldier.
Yeah. You feel that wholeheartedly in Omaha Beach. That is why that scene is moving on. You said 7-3, right?
Yep.
Saving Private Ryan. So 13-7 victory for Saving Private Ryan. Now let's cover my favorite of the two. I'll try not to gush so I don't take all the airtime away from the rest of this episode. What about Top Gun Maverick got it even 3 points for you? Because there's not many that could score that many points against
Well,
Saving Private Ryan for
I
you.
really also love Top Gun Maverick a lot as a movie, and this is by far the most fun scene, in my personal opinion.
I'd agree.
Um, it's also I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite scene. but it's up there.
From the movie?
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
hard because I really also like the beginning when they start practicing against Maverick.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene.
Yeah.
They're
Um.
all cocky as fuck, and they all
Yes.
lose.
Yeah. I really do like that scene as well. But yeah, I said it about Top Gun Maverick earlier when it went up against Kingsman. It's a good encapsulation of Maverick as a character.
The I don't know if there's a better scene outside of maybe one that's also in this division that understands its themes better than Top Gun Maverick does.
Hmm.
The thematic work is all here. One, I said this when it won out against Kingsman. There's no adversary here besides the laws of nature. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no guns coming for him. There's no other pilots. It's not like he has a flaw to the point where he has to overcome something of
No.
his
Yeah.
own self.
He's
It's
literally doing it to do it.
He's doing it to give faith to other characters. So
Yeah.
this is and the other thing I love about this is I don't know if any other scene is as efficient in telling its story as this is.
I
Not saying it's bad or that others should be more efficient because they're all great at this point.
it, it's definitely up there. Yeah.
But you have a scene that is super quick that entirely encapsulates entire character and theme of a movie. Where if you're headstrong and you believe in yourself, there's still a place for you, even when you're outdated and thought to be not that much. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is can he overcome age? Can he overcome his reputation? And he does so not by fighting his own reputation, but by being himself. It's the whole thing right there.
Yeah.
And I love all the cutbacks when it first starts. The cutbacks are all, it's, Phoenix, now Oscar nominee, Monica Barbaro Phoenix,
Yep.
which, more credit to my Top Gun crew, love that. She just goes, nice, like, because he's just commandeers a plane and steals a multi-million-dollar aircraft to do it.
Yeah.
And, Glenn Powell just sits back like, oh, this is a show. And by the end, all they're doing is watching a computer screen, but all of them are watching in, like, grand anticipation, like, holy shit, he actually can do this, which then makes me believe I can do the impossible as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I still always remember that shot of Jay Ellis just, like, he's got the fist going and he's leaning forward and he's like, oh my god, this is possible. And you can see how inspiring how inspired the other characters are by Maverick's action.
Yeah. I mean, if it went up against most other things, it would have won.
Even the hard matchup that we just did for the ONETA show with Fellowship and Dark Knight, I think I probably still would have picked Top Gun Maverick.
Oh,
That's how good I think Top Gun Maverick is. Yeah, I could go more, but I shouldn't because then we're gonna lose airtime. And I'll be late for work. But Saving Private Ryan wins 13-7, and my heart and soul has been crushed. Moving on, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's final action scene where the Manson family attacks Brad Pitt's character or breaks into his home. That one out against another comedic scene, the Anchorman news fight, which is tremendous. So we have that scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood taking on the helicopter sequence from Mission Impossible 6 Fallout, which beat out the car chase from Bullet, starring Steve McQueen. How do you score Once Upon a Time in Hollywood versus Mission Impossible?
I went 6-4 Mission Impossible.
I went 6-4 Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. So my reasoning for leaning Mission Impossible is stakes.
So I shouldn't do this as a host. Let's cut the drama. I think Mission Impossible takes it. I do.
Okay.
Here's why I had it so close. The stakes are clearly more in Mission Impossible's favor, but I remember when we were talking about this in the round of 64, and it was brought up in that the peak of the helicopter sequence is the beginning. It's not the end.
Yeah.
And so, where I feel as good as the entire Once Upon a Time in Hollywood scene is, it peaks at the end like you're supposed to have.
Oh yeah, it has that surprise callback to the flamethrower.
Yes.
I love that.
And the fact that there is a woman on fire while standing in a pool is
You got
fucking hilarious.
you got one Oscar winning lighting up another Oscar winner,
I was
Mikey
gonna say,
Madison.
shyly, Oscar winner Mikey Madison just screaming for 5 minutes is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Taking on Oscar winner Leonardo DiCaprio with,
Yep.
and we have Oscar nominee Brad Pitt in there as well. So it's
So
it's so good. It's so much
the
fun.
thing about Once Upon a Time is, in terms of the stakes of it,
Yeah.
like technically speaking, 2 lives are at stake.
Yeah.
But as soon as the dog bites the, I don't know the character's name, but the guy
Rex
that's
or
with
whatever his
them,
name is. Yeah.
yeah, who who's the main guy who's gonna kill them.
Yeah.
As soon as the dog takes him out, and then Brad Pitt just starts beating the shit out of people, then I'm like, oh, okay, I know what we're doing here. And then I can just have fun watching these hippies get the shit beat out of them. Like, I know what's happening there. So I can just relax now.
The fact
because
that
I know
you have to
I know the ending.
you have to beware phones, mantles. Like, those are the weapons.
Part.
Oh, that's holy shit. Like, a dog can be dangerous. But the fact that a phone is used as a deadly weapon is ingenious. What's up, Lupin? How you doing, bud? So that's the best part, is when it's just up against the phone and then the mantelpiece. And the other part is the fact that he's high and doesn't believe anything's real at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then, who's that? That's Francesca. Like, with no question. Like, why wouldn't we know that? Why wouldn't we know that that's Francesca? Like, how could you not know that's the woman I'm fucking right now? Like, it's just so fucking ridiculous.
It also, I really love the cutaways to Leo just casually chilling in the pool, ignoring it all. Well, not ignoring it, just oblivious to it all.
Yes. Oh, it's fun.
It's a great scene. I really love that scene, but
I'm not gonna lie. With the few minutes I have left before work, I'm probably just gonna watch that scene again because I was laughing my ass off the entire time rewatching it for this show. But I think Mission Impossible, for stakes, has to take it. When Tom Cruise is doing that stunt work, it's hard to top. When he's hanging from the payload with one arm, you're like, Jesus Christ, Tom, can you please just not die for once?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
So we'll go Mission Impossible 6, and that will win the tiebreaker here, which is quite impressive. We've had more ties than I thought we would, honestly, which I appreciate. So, we don't want it to just be chalk.
Yeah.
Alrighty, here's another one that I had a tough time with, which I didn't think I would. We have Mad Max Fury Road. We have the section of the bikers jumping over the tanker. It's when the gasoline tank is left out for the bikers, and then they start chasing the tanker sequence, or the tanker, which includes Immortan Joe catching up until the bride falls out of the... Oh, no. Maybe she doesn't fall out. But she, exposes herself to him so he won't shoot at that. It's 8 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, we have that sequence from Mad Max Fury Road taking on the trench no man's land sequence from Wonder Woman. Incredibly tough. What'd you score it?
I did 7-3 Mad Max.
6-4-1. I went 6-4 Mad Max.
Okay.
Quick on Mad Max. We say this every time. Mad Max is the perfect example of an action movie continually ramping up, and what part of Mad Max do you pick to be your representative? Exactly. So that's why we picked the scene, because we think it's the best one. And it will be tough sledding for anyone to beat Mad Max, frankly. That I said this before, I'll say it again. I would argue Mad Max is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I mean, it had tough competition in the first round with The Fugitive.
Yeah.
So it is proving itself
Right.
every single time.
The reason I scored it as much as I do is the character work in Wonder Woman is virtually second to none.
I was gonna say the thing that I like about Wonder Woman more than Mad Max is Wonder Woman's scene feels so much like a hero moment, and not just a superhero moment, but just generic, like the hero of a film. It feels so much like that, and it's so clearly defined.
Oh yeah, I get tears in my eyes every time I watch that scene. Beyond just the fond memories I have of being in the theater with friends, and finally they got to see, with female friends, and they got to see themselves represented on screen. I don't know if there's a single woman in our screening that wasn't crying during that scene, because it's just such a clear, as you said, hero moment where there's finally that woman out there that everyone's like, yep, she's the one. And Wonder Woman already is an icon, but that scene takes it to where everyone can understand why she's an icon, which is even more problematic because now Gal Gadot is giving her opinions on genocide, but it's a different story.
Oh, she's canceled?
She's not canceled. She hasn't said anything that's so wild that you're like, but she's very clearly like pro-Israeli. She's from Israel. I understand it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where it's like,
I literally have not looked up the news in 6 months.
I've only seen tidbits of it.
I have no idea what's going on in the world.
I'm only seeing tidbits of it because of the Snow White premieres some of the Snow White premieres in the UK were even cancelled because of just the possible bad press that Snow White was getting. And there's all these stories that there was tension between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler because they were just so two radically different humans on set. So it's interesting to say the least. Whatever about that, but when we're focusing on the scene, the Wonder Woman scene is one of my favorite scenes of movie history. You understand why that character matters to legitimately billions of people like that. The second she takes off the cloak and she puts the tiara on, you're just like, yep, that's Wonder Woman. She's amazing.
Yeah, I said it in the earlier match with Collateral. It's the best DC scene by far.
I would say outside of, in terms of the DCEU, absolutely. All of DC in general, we still got the Batman, we still have the Dark Knight to contest with, but other than that, I still think that statement holds pretty true. I love the build. You're told it, you understand it, no one can cross it, no one can do it. And the fact that Steve and company won't even try, and she's like, that's wrong. I'm going to try and I'm going to do it. And she has this innate belief that is right to do so. And you buy it and you're like, I don't know what kind of Wonder Woman we're getting here. And the second she climbs out, also the way Patty Jenkins has that shot. Patty Jenkins does such a good job with that scene. Where there's no gratuitous, like any other director probably takes the gratuitous ass shot. They take the gratuitous like shot everywhere else, like typical stuff.
You would hope not.
You would hope not, but unfortunately a lot of superhero movies have done that. Where there's just a shot where they can argue, no, it's not about that. And you're like, come on.
Yeah.
But
Michael Bay would have.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Oh, of course he would have. Well, Michael Bay would have cast fucking Megan Fox as Wonder Woman, so what are we talking about here? So it's shot perfectly, and the way it just slowly comes at you and picks up speed towards the end it's spectacular. Just the slow one cuff brace taking out a bullet, then another one. You're just like, she is her.
Yeah,
she is it.
Yep.
It's
a great moment.
It's a great moment, but it loses out to Mad Max Fury Road because Mad Max Fury Road is arguably the greatest action movie of all time. So what's going to take it out is going to be interesting, to say the least. And we're going to go to our final matchup of this episode, the final matchup in the round of 32. We have the Ride of the Rohirrim from Return of the King, which also took out 11-time Oscar winner Titanic. The fellow 11-time
both won 11.
Yeah. So the fellow 11-time Winners Club, 2 of the 3 were in one matchup. And that is taking on John Wick's 2's Catacomb Chase and Shootout, which won out by coin toss over the Quicksilver sequence from X-Men Days of Future Past. How'd you score this one?
10-0. Lord of the Rings.
I knew you were going to go that way. I went 9-1.
Right.
I went 9-1 Return of the King. I know you did. I went 9-1 Return of the King. So it wins 19-1. So, quickly, Return of the King. Why is it winning this one?
I mean, I think it wins by default. For me, just because by this point, I was kind of going in order, kind of skipping around at times, but mostly going in order.
Sure.
And in order, this is literally one of the last scenes in our tournament.
Yeah.
So this is I watched this almost last. And by that point, I was like, I am so over this ridiculous gun stuff. Like, there's only so much you could take.
Which I think it's a shame. I think if you had watched this scene early, you'd have a different take on this scene. Not the whole genre of action that you got sick of, but this scene specifically, I think you would have a favorable approach to.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the peak of the John Wick franchise, is this scene.
I wish... Yeah, it's hard to say, like, I was going to say, like, in a vacuum, if I saw this scene, well, how would I think about it?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's become so much a style that's been stolen, the John Wick style.
Yeah.
That it's like, it kind of waters down the actual John Wick movies.
Again, I'm sorry to give you a pro wrestling analogy, but this is the ladder match of pro wrestling. Where the first couple times, they do so much that is incredible, then everyone steals it, and now a ladder match doesn't mean shit. Where it used to be the biggest spectacle ever, because everyone's like, what are they going to do? Oh my god, how could they possibly top it? And then they top it. Where I think John Wick is still the best at that style, and they tend to try to find ways to top themselves in some way, shape, or form. But everyone else has stolen that style, where it's like, every hero can just get stabbed and shot and explode, but don't worry, they're going to get back up and kill 5 more guys. And you're like, everybody does it. I understand your argument.
And so it just has that fatigue to it, I guess. It would be why.
So I scored at 9-1 for this reason. I love the setup that makes the catacomb scene. I love the scene walking in through the catacombs, placing all the weapons, finding his places of cover. You understand how the scene's going to go, but on top of it, it explains why John can be the Baba Yaga. You know, it's not just simply he's unkillable. This is one of the few scenes in the entire franchise where you just go, oh no, wait. He's actually super intelligent about how he approaches this, and he has a better approach than anybody else.
That's a good point. This is one of the only scenes where it actually shows him having a plan.
Yeah, where it's not just, I'm thrown in with a gun, and I need to make it work. We're very much... After John Wick 2, he's always on the run, and he always has to make it up as he goes.
Yeah, just improvising.
Which makes it fun, but also can wear on you, where this is the last time he kind of gets to be, no, I'm the fucking Baba Yaga, and I'm going to show you why. You know? So that's why I gave it the point that it does. There's still really good setup, and I like the scenery to it, and I like... The action isn't just all shootout. I like when it gets physical as well, with hand-to-hand combat added with the weaponry. And I like the fact that they go through different types of guns. It's not just one pistol over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a nice change of pace. But again, it's going up against one of my favorite scenes in movie history, where you have theoretically 6,000 riders or 4,000 riders of Rohan screaming death, knowing we're going to take on the face of evil, we're going to die, and we don't care because we're here to help. And you just go, that's a fucking hero. Love that.
Yeah.
Plus, you have my girl, the Shield Maiden of Rohan, there as well. So,
Yeah.
love me some Lady
a lot
Eowyn.
of great moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a daughter, I'm not gonna lie, I'd think about naming her Eowyn. That's how much I love that character. That's how much I love that story and that scene. So, it's kind of sucks because we just had a good discussion about a lot of stuff, and then this one's just John Wick loses because John Wick loses.
Yeah.
But it's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So we have a 19 to 1 victory over over John Wick 2 for Return of the King. That sets up a lot of good matches here, folks. So,
I was gonna say a lot of good matches.
So quickly, I'll go over the entire round of 16, the Sweet 16 here. So going back to the Yo bracket, or the Yo division, which you can find the round of 32 matchups in the last episode of the ONETA Show. You have the docking sequence of Interstellar taking on the motorbike and truck sequence and chase from Terminator 2. And then also out of the Yo division is the T-Rex chase from Jurassic Park taking on the breaking of the Deeping Wall from Helm's Deep and the Two Towers. That's a matchup right there for you, folks.
Mm-hmm.
That's one where I think the T-Rex actually might get beaten. Or it could get beaten. I'm not saying it will, but it's a discussion.
It's tough.
We then go to the Cruise division, where we have brother versus brother. We have Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol's Climb of the Burj Khalifa, taking on Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation's water tank security scene. That's going to be some fun here, folks, as well. And we also have the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, or not Return of the King, I'm sorry, Fellowship of the Ring and the Amon Hen fight will be taking on John Wick, and that would be the original nightclub scene. So the first time he goes through the bathhouse. We may have lost Dylan some technical difficulties, but I'll still round out the rest of the bracket here. In the Weaver division that we covered today, going on to the Sweet 16, we have the truck chase sequence from Raiders of the Lost Ark going up against, again, brother versus brother, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which is the tank chase sequence. So we have the truck versus the tank chase, all Indiana Jones. And we also have the Godzilla Destruction of Ginza taking on Casino Royale's parkour chase sequence, which is quite fun and interesting. And our final matchups are the Omaha Beach sequence from Saving Private Ryan taking on Mission Impossible 6 Fallout's helicopter chase and sequence. And our final matchup of the Sweet 16, it is Mad Max Fury Road's Tanker Chase, where we have all the motorbikes jumping over the tanker, taking on Return of the King's Ride of the Rohirrim. We have a lot of fun matchups here, folks, and it's going to be a lot of fun going into the Sweet 16 with some really close combat. That is going to do it here for us, folks. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the end, losing Dylan, but hey, apparently Spectrum Internet sucks over on Dylan's end, so that's why we're missing that one. But stay tuned to the rest of the tournament. You can catch the next episode on the ONETA Show as we go into the Sweet 16, which is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Beyond that, we have even more for you, so check out the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast and the ONETA Show as the tournament continues. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. Let us know what you guys are thinking about it in the comment section below. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!